Want to avoid an easy mistake that could cost you so much money here on YouTube? Well, let's learn from PewDiePie's biggest mistake. Hey up everyone, I'm Stef from Market Maker MGMT, and today in part 2, I'm going to explain what you need to take away from PewDiePie's biggest mistake so history doesn't repeat itself on your channel. Now, if you missed part 1 where I broke down what PewDiePie's biggest mistake actually was, then make sure you check that out. I'll put the link below in the description bar. Now, let's get to it. What can we learn from PewDiePie's adpocalypse as content creators in 2026 and beyond? Well, the first thing to take away is your jokes have a different weight once you get bigger on this platform. Because what feels like harmless internet absurdity to you and your core audience can look extremely different when traditional media or advertisers freeze frame it. The bigger you are, the more risk you then carry. The bigger your platform, the more careful essentially you have to be with content that can be stripped of context. Lesson number 2, never rely solely on YouTube ads as your primary income. Because the adpocalypse proved to all of us that this platform can change the rules overnight to protect its advertisers. So diversify before you need to, right? Merch, memberships, digital products, email lists, sponsorships that you believe in and that you can control, other platforms. Build multiple streams so one policy change doesn't sink you. Lesson number 3, audience loyalty. That is your real safety net. Because what saved PewDiePie in the end with all of this was that his core fans, and he had millions of them, stuck with him throughout that storm. That community support is essentially what let him keep going. So make sure you invest in a real connection, because it's not about view counts. A smaller but dedicated audience that will buy your stuff or support you directly is worth infinitely more than millions of passive viewers who will disappear the second the algorithm shifts. Going on to the 4th takeaway, intention doesn't always equal impact. You can mean something as satire, or you can call it a social experiment. Thing is, though, that can still cause real harm and damage your channel, especially with topics that can involve hate, history, or marginalized groups. The bar essentially is higher when you're a bigger channel than simply, well, it was just a joke. When you're a bigger channel, you've got a bigger responsibility. That's the way it goes. And then let's finally get to lesson number 5. It's a hard lesson, but it is what it is. YouTube will always prioritize advertisers over creators when push comes to shove. Now, you might not hear that a lot from any content creator, and I am one on this platform, but I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. Again, for those in the back, platforms like YouTube, they are always going to prioritize advertisers over creators when push comes to shove, 100% of the time. Because YouTube's response when it came to the adpocalypse was about keeping the money flowing from brands and not protecting free expression. Sadly, that is the cold hard truth of it all. So treat YouTube or any platform whatsoever as a tool and not a partner that has your back forever. PewDiePie survived, he adapted, he rebuilt, and to this day is still one of the most influential creators ever. But a lot of smaller channels sadly never recovered from the revenue crash that followed. So the adpocalypse, it wasn't just about one bad video. It was a wake-up call that the rules of the YouTube game can change in a single news cycle like that. So by all means, be bold, be authentic. I would encourage that. But also be strategic. Protect your brand, diversify your income, and never forget that with a big audience comes big responsibility. And if this has helped you think differently about your own content strategy, then drop a comment below and tell me the biggest lesson you took away from PewDiePie's biggest mistake. And guys, if you want more deep dives into creator history and survival tips, make sure on your way out you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and like this video. And until the next time, I'll see you in the next one.